The twin suns above Vespera 9 were just beginning to set when the sky tore open. Governor Mira Hale had only a second to register the impossible. A burning shape falling through the clouds, shedding metal and fire like dying feathers. Then the alarm towers began screaming. Reaver signatures, multiple, closing fast. The comms room erupted into panic. Technicians scrambled, trying to route power, trying to unlock the defense grid that they'd hoped would never be needed. But they all knew the truth. Vespera 9 was a farming colony. A peaceful world. A world not meant for war. And the Reavers lived for worlds like these. Mira slammed her hand onto the emergency console. Get the civilians underground. Now. The ground shook as the first Reaver strike pod landed somewhere near the eastern ridge. The second landed closer, too close. The lights flickered. Dust dropped from the ceiling. Her aide, Jalen, turned to her with a pale, hollow face. They're jamming long-range comms. We'll lose contact in under a minute. Mira exhaled sharply. She had expected this. Reavers always isolated a population before they carved it apart. Which meant she had only one chance, one window to do what mattered. Patch me through to any channel still open, she ordered. Jalen hesitated. Governor, no one's coming. We're too far from the core. The Council never sends help to frontier worlds. I'm not calling the Council. Her voice hardened. I'm calling Earth. A few techs froze. Earth? Humanity's cradle? The world of stubborn, overreactive, soft-hearted giants who leapt into danger before thinking twice? The channel crackled. Only seconds left. Mira leaned forward, breath shaking but voice steady. This is Governor Mira Hale of Vespera 9. We are under attack by Reaver forces. Civilians are trapped. If anyone on Earth hears this, please, help us. A loud impact rocked the bunker. The northern wall dented inward. Screams echoed outside. The signal spiked, then began to break apart under the Reavers jamming. Jalen shouted, Governor, the channel's collapsing. I know. The final burst of the transmission was raw, desperate, and painfully human. Earth, if you hear us, this is our last call. Then the comms went dead. Total silence. Mira stared at the blank console, her reflection flickering faintly on its dark surface. Outside, the night filled with the roar of Reaver engines and the thunder of destruction. She whispered to herself, half prayer, half hope, someone will hear us, they have to. In the deep black silence between planets, far from any colony or trade route, a single massive structure drifted. The Terran Defense Nexus, Aegis Station. A fortress the size of a small moon. Home to Earth's Rapid Response Command. A place built for one purpose. To hear what others ignored. Inside its core, Commander Rhett Calder was mid-briefing when a sharp, alien-pitched distortion cut through the room's comm feed. Officers froze. Techs spun in their chairs. Unscheduled transmission, someone muttered. Source unknown, attempting to clean the signal. Rhett raised a hand. Put it through. Raw. The room filled with static, then a voice emerged, broken, terrified, but unmistakably human. Is Mira Hale. Vespera 9. Reaver attack. Civilians trapped? Please help us. Officers stopped breathing. Rhett didn't blink. He'd heard many distress calls in his life. Too many. But this one carried a tone he had promised Earth would never hear again. Hopelessness. Reavers, someone whispered. That sector has no defenses. It's an agricultural colony. Why attack them? Another asked. Rhett's jaw tightened. He knew why. Because Reavers hunted easy prey. Because the Galactic Council turned a blind eye. Because frontier worlds were always deemed expendable. But Earth did not share that philosophy. Not anymore. Not ever again. The audio distorted violently, jamming interference eating through the final seconds. Earth, if you hear us, this is our last call. Silence. A cold, final silence. Rhett looked across his command deck and saw every officer staring back with the same expression. If humans don't help humans, no one else will. He stood sharply. Signal every fleet captain, he ordered. Priority 1 alert. The lights in the war room shifted from white to deep crimson. Every console flashed. Across Aegis Station, thousands of Terran soldiers, engineers, pilots, and AI combat frames froze in their tracks as the emergency sirens began to howl. A message appeared across every screen. Terran priority alert. Human colony under attack. All available armadas prepare for immediate deployment. A young officer stammered, Sir, you're calling a full mobilization? For one colony. Rhett's eyes sharpened. For one human. He paused. For any human. The room went completely still. No more debates. No committee vote. No hesitation. Earth didn't negotiate with those who preyed on its own. It responded. With finality. Rhett slammed the fleet command key. Bring the 3rd, 5th, and 9th armadas online. Ready the carriers. Wake the Titan class. Launch sequence in 30 minutes. A gasp rippled through the room. That wasn't a rescue force. That was a planetary clearing war machine. Someone whispered, Commander, that's overkill. But Rhett only said, They called for help. So we answer. And far below Aegis Station, massive armored bay doors began to crack open, revealing rows upon rows of Terran warships, each one humming awake like a sleeping beast yearning for battle. Earth had heard the call. And Earth was coming. The launch bays of Aegis Station had never been quiet, but today, they roared. Hundreds of engines lit in synchronized waves, shaking the station's reinforced hull. Plasma rails hummed. Magnetic clamps released. Warship cores ignited like newborn stars. The Terran fleets were waking up. On the observation deck, Commander Rhett Calder stood in full combat regalia, staring out at the colossal formation assembling in orbit. The 3rd Armada, a wall of destroyers, interceptors, and point defense ships. The 5th Armada, heavy cruisers, carriers, and 2 dreadnoughts. The 9th Armada, special operations, stealth corvettes, quantum artillery platforms. But dominating the entire structure, casting a shadow across the curvature of Earth, was the monster. TNS Dreadhammer, a Titan-class warship, 2 kilometers long. A walking declaration of war. If the Reavers had known what was about to fall upon them, they would have fled the galaxy. Rhett tapped his comm. All officers, report status. One by one, their voices chimed through the deck like a rising storm. Armada 3, engines full burn. Weapons charged. Armada 5, carriers loaded. Fighter wings ready. Armada 9, stealth grid online. Strike teams in drop pods. Dreadhammer, main cannon at 78%. Shield mesh stable. Awaiting your mark. The comms officer turned to Rhett. Commander, we are prepared. They weren't just prepared. They were furious. And fury was something humanity had perfected long before reaching the stars. Rhett walked toward the command throne of the fleet room. The lights dimmed automatically as he approached, reading his biometrics, syncing with his implant. When he sat, the entire armada seemed to respond, like it had been waiting for him. A hologram of the Vespera 9 colony appeared before him. Burning fields, shattered buildings, fleeing civilians. And at the center, Reaver raiding ships carving the surface apart. Rhett tightened his fist. Patch me through to every Terran soldier in the fleet. The channel opened. Thousands of soldiers paused. Pilots froze in their cockpits. Weapons crews looked up. AI combat frames turned their heads in unison. He spoke simply. A colony cried out for help. And someone dared to make them believe Earth wouldn't come. We prove them wrong today. We do not abandon our own. Set course for Vespera 9. Full burn. All fleets, launch. The reply wasn't words. It was motion. Thousands of engines ignited at once, scattering light across Earth's orbit. The fleets surged forward like unleashed arrows, slipping into formation as their warp cores reached critical resonance. A moment later, foam. The entire armada tore a hole through subspace and vanished into the dark. In their wake, Aegis Station fell silent again. Earth wasn't just sending help. Earth was sending inevitability. Vespera 9 burned. Smoke rose in towering black plumes across the colony farmland. Entire districts lay shattered, scorched by Reaver plasma cannons. Civilians ran through the streets, hunted by shrieking raiders in bone-shard armor. Above the colony, the Reaver fleet hovered like carrion birds, jagged, rusted ships welded from scavenged hulls. Their admiral, a monstrous figure with metallic mandibles and a scar across his carapace, watched the slaughter with satisfaction. "Harvest the strong," he rasped. "Burn the weak." His warriors howled in triumph. Then, every sensor on every Reaver vessel suddenly screamed an alert. A tier opened in the sky. No, multiple tiers. 1, 10, 50, hundreds. Streams of blinding white-blue energy ripped across the edges of Vespera 9's atmosphere, twisting subspace into cracking, fractal shards. The Reaver admiral's eyes widened. "What is this?" His sensors officer stammered, unknown mass signatures. Size too large. Too many, can't compute." And then the first ship emerged. A Terran destroyer. Smooth steel. Blazing engines. The emblem of Earth burning on its hull. Then another. And another. Destroyers. Cruisers. Carriers. A wave. No, an ocean. The Reaver fleet began to panic. Impossible. Humans don't have this many warships. How? But the final ship to emerge silenced them all. The warp tier opened wider, much wider, stretching like a wound in reality. And out stepped the Titan. TNS Dreadhammer. The monster blocked out the sun. Its hull bristled with weapon platforms the size of buildings. Its core glowed with a caged star. Every Reaver ship froze in place. Every Terran ship locked weapons. Commander Rhett Calder's voice echoed across an open channel, broadcast to every vessel in orbit and every raider on the ground. He didn't shout. He didn't threaten. He simply spoke truth. "This is Earth. You hurt our people. Now face the consequence." The Reaver admiral roared, "All ships, fire! Destroy them before they—" He never finished. The first shot from the Dreadhammer's main cannon wasn't a beam. It was an erasure. A column of white energy ripped across space, so fast that even sensor arrays lagged behind. It struck the Admiral's flagship, then vaporized it, its escorts, and half the asteroid ring behind it. Silence. Then chaos. Reaver screams, panicked orders, ships turning in every direction. Terran Tactical AI broadcast one message across internal networks. "Engage at will. No survivors." Terran destroyers swept through the battlefield like surgical blades, cutting apart Reaver skirmishers with pinpoint rail strike. Heavy cruisers unleashed broadside plasma storms that turned raider formations into drifting slag. Carriers opened their bays, flooding the sky with fighter wings that dove, twisted, and detonated Reaver engines before the raiders even realized they were targeted. On the ground, Terran drop pods streaked through the atmosphere, slamming into the soil like meteors. Inside them, armored infantry, exosuit squads, medics, and AI drones, ready to pull civilians from the fire and hunt raiders in the ruins. The broken sky of Vespera 9 glowed with burning wreckage and Terran fire. For the first time since their attack began, the Reavers understood fear. Humanity had arrived. And humanity did not fight to win. Humanity fought to end. The streets of Vespera 9 shook as Terran drop pods cracked open, spilling out armored soldiers in matte black exosuit. Their visors glowed amber. Their weapons hummed with restrained vengeance. Commander Rhett Calder descended last, stepping out of a command pod as smoke curled around his boot. Civilians stared in disbelief, half in awe, half in relief. "Commander, is it really the Earth fleet?" a trembling colonist asked. Rhett rested a gauntlet hand on the man's shoulder. Earth heard you, he said softly. And we're not leaving until you're safe. Above them, the sky burned with the last moments of the Reaver fleet. The Titan-class dreadhammer rotated slowly, charging for its final shot. Around it, Terran destroyers hunted like steel wolves, running down stragglers with merciless precision. The Reavers on the ground fought like cornered animals. But it didn't matter. Terran infantry moved with perfect, terrifying coordination. Every squad backed by drones, artillery strikes, and nanoswarm scouts marking enemy positions. One Reaver captain, limping and bleeding, tried to retreat toward a landing skiff. A Terran fire team intercepted him in seconds. "Mercy!" he shrieked. "Mercy, Deathworlders!" The squad leader tilted her helmet. "Not for you." A single rail burst ended him. Human medics rushed past her to reach trapped colonists. Because even in war, humans fought to save first. In orbit, the final moment arrived. The surviving Reaver warships, only 4 of them, managed to form a broken wedge formation, engines screaming as they tried to escape. But the dreadhammer locked onto them with cold inevitability. Commander Rhett's voice echoed across the fleet. "End it." The dreadhammer fired. A beam of pure stellar fury tore across space. A single, perfect line. The Reaver survivors evaporated. No wreckage. No drifting hulls. Just silence. Vespera 9 was safe. Not because the galaxy intervened. Not because the Council acted. But because humans answer their own. Aftermath. As soldiers distributed aid, as engineers rebuilt power grids, as children clung to the armored legs of Terran medics, Rhett walked through the ash-filled square and raised a comm unit. "Open a sector-wide channel," he ordered. His officers hesitated. "All species will hear it, sir." "Good." The channel opened. A million listening posts, satellites, and starbases across the region heard his voice. To any who prey on human colonies. To any who believe frontier worlds are easy targets. Understand this. You attack one settlement. You earn the wrath of all humanity. We rise together. We answer together. And we finish what you start. He ended the transmission. Around him, the colonists of Vespera 9 erupted into relieved, exhausted cheers. The war was over. The message was not. The galaxy had taken notice. Earth didn't send diplomats. Earth didn't send warnings. Earth sent armies. And one call for help had been enough.